Alright, so we're back in Cities Skylines today, and I'm going to explain what death waves in this game has to do with flattening the curve of pandemic. Big Town, one of the most important milestones in the game. It marks the transition from early game to mid game. It's the time the player unlocks high density zoning. The natural tendency at this point is to go and replace a lot of the zoning you have with high density. You want your city to look like an actual city. Fast forward a decade in game, the second generation of high-density city dwellers are turning into seniors. This is about the time they start dropping like flies. The city goes into a plague of people dying of old age, the streets are flooded with hearses, the economy tumbles, and the population drops. This is the well-known phenomenon of a death wave. So what does all this have to do with flattening the curve? Flashback to when we did all that zoning. Everyone moved in back then was the same age, and they had the same lifespan of 6 in-game years. Since all that zoning was done at once, a lot of the population was the same age. Because of the basic function of death waves, they were condemned to die at the same time. When the death wave comes, the death care system is overloaded for a little while as they clean up all the bodies littering the city. This is like a healthcare system getting overloaded. The death wave is over relatively quick, within a year, maybe. On the contrary, if we had chosen to zone things slowly, perhaps doing one city block at a time, people would have moved in at different times and the age of all the citizens would be a little different. That way, when they died, they'd do so at different times. Since we spent a longer time overall doing the rezoning, the death wave would take longer, but since less people are dying at the same time, the death care system wouldn't be overloaded. In fact, the hearses might even pick up citizens before an alert comes over the building that someone has died. The death wave passes under our noses without us noticing. The parallel should be obvious by now. The death wave was like a pandemic curve that has been flattened, and the death care system, like the healthcare system, hasn't been overloaded. The population of the city and the world doesn't drop drastically, and the economy of the city and the world doesn't implode. Anyway, that's all I have to say about what city skylines and pandemics have to do with each other. As always, if you have a suggestion for a video, you can leave it in the comments, and as always, thank you for watching.